What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Thomas. Welcome to the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I am your host. If you have not checked out my latest episodes of the Thomas Take, feel free to. I've had a few guests on the show within the last week, and it has provided my show with a lot of success. So I'm very thankful to those guests that will definitely be on once again as the weeks go by towards the 2016 NFL season. More importantly, today, the Buffalo Bills reached an agreement with quarterback Tyrod Taylor on an extension. If you have not checked the title, I'm not too pleased. Not too pleased at all. Not too happy. As a Buffalo Bills fan, I did not find this deal necessary for the Buffalo Bills. This deal did not need to be made before the season, during the season. It only needed to be talked about after the season. I am not a fan of signing guys to long-term extensions before they reach their second season, before they reach the start of essentially their second starting season in the NFL. Let's get down to brass tacks. Tyrod's deal was 5 years, $92 million, an average salary of $18.4 million. Tyrod will be a free agent in 2022. Basically, Tyrod is getting a $6.5 million extension in 2016, a $6.5 million pay raise for the 2016 season. He was slated to make $3 million in 2016. This season, he will make $9.5 million for the 2016 season, which will rank him as the third highest paid Buffalo Bill on their roster currently, behind Marcel Darius and Cordy Glenn, two fairly new contracts, as Cordy Glenn signed his deal back in March, and Marcel Darius signed his deal, obviously, last offseason. So, $12 million in salary for the 2017 season. If Tyrod plays well in 2016, he is slated for a $12 million salary with a $15.5 million option bonus if the Bills decide to pick up that season. They will pay him a total of $27.5 million total salary, which will make him the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. The first year, that $9.5 million this year in 2016 is fully guaranteed. So he will make every penny of that deal, $9.5 million. The last 2 years of the deal, of the 5-year deal, are club options. So while on the surface this deal looks as if it is beneficial to the Bills, and it looks as if it is structured the right way for the Buffalo Bills organization, you have to ask yourself, is Tyrod Taylor worth $27 million for 1 year? The answer is easily no. Reason why I say that? The Buffalo Bills have had a luxury heading into this season, paying their starting quarterback a low figure, a guy that had only won 8 games in 14 starts, and yes, 14 starts. He did not start the full 16 games. The durability questions are there. Can Tyrod Taylor last a full 16-game season? I've beat this like a dead horse over and over and over again. The horse has been whipped, just completely whipped, as far as how much I've preached that I have serious questions with his durability. The marketplace dictated this deal going down. People need to understand that. The reason why this deal is as much as it is, and I understand that, why it is as much as it is because of the fact that Brock Osweiler got a 4-year, $72 million contract off of 7 starts. So that inflated quarterback contracts quite a bit, and Tyrod Taylor was going to reap the benefits of that based on the market. But this deal has disaster written all over it. If the Buffalo Bills decide that they have to pick up that option for $27.5 million, if they can't stretch that out, I don't know what the rules and regulations are as far as that goes, but if they have to pay $27.5 million for 1 season for this guy that has shown that he does not have the ability to protect his body, I have serious questions as far as this deal goes down, as far as this deal going down. It is structured the right way for the Bills to get out of it. That's all well and good, but an average salary of $18.4 million, guaranteed money, it's quite plentiful. Now, the first 3 years, obviously, that means his first 3 years will have $50 million paid. towards his contract. And then the last 2 years are club options. So, if those options are met, then obviously he will have full salary paid to him for those 2 years. So you can do the math. $50 million out of 92 in the first 3 years. You can do the math from there. I'm not excited about this deal. While most Bills fans are, I am not. I have serious questions about why they would pay a guy this much money after he'd only started on their roster for 1 year. 1 season, not even a full season, 14 games. Yes, he made the Pro Bowl. Yes, he had over 3,000 yards passing. Yes, he also had 20 touchdowns and 6 to 7 interceptions. But please, for the love of God, why are we signing guys that have provided us with little experience? Why are we signing guys to big money in short time frames and short windows? This guy has started only 14 games, and we're ready to hand him the keys to the franchise. I'm not ready to do that. If I was down at the GM, GM spot, if I was Doug Whaley, I would not have made this deal. I would have waited towards the end of the season. If he played better and wanted more money, that would be a time to discuss a contract. But you're jumping the gun here. You're jumping ahead, jumping to conclusions, praying, hoping that he's the guy, and I don't necessarily know if he is. Houston did the same thing with Brock Osweiler. They showed desperation. This contract extension shows pure desperation by the Buffalo Bills to sign Tyrod Taylor to this type of deal. It shows that they are truly desperate to find their answer at the starting quarterback position. A truly desperate franchise in finding that franchise quarterback, and I do not know if Tyrod is that guy. He has quite a slew of skills besides, his arm. He brings a lot of versatility to an offense, but with that versatility comes injury and putting your body on the line, not protecting your body. And more than a starting quarterback problem, the Buffalo Bills have a backup quarterback starting problem. So if Tyrod Taylor goes down, the backup that can come in, E.J. Manuel or Cardale Jones, either one has shown inefficiencies through the course of his career in E.J. Manuel and raw ability, a raw project quarterback in the case of Cardale Jones. Throwing him out there to be the backup in his rookie year would be like throwing him out to the Wolves. That would not bode well for the Buffalo Bills. I was honestly hoping that they would go after Nick Foles when Nick Foles was a free agent. That did not happen. This Tyrod Taylor deal really frustrates me. While I said I'm not burning. When I heard about the deal, I was pretty frustrated. When I heard the $27.5 million total salary for 2017, that really frustrated me. There are some written, structured rules within the contract that make it team-friendly for the Bills, but the purpose of extending a guy is to keep him, right? And when you're extending a guy at this high of a cap figure, it definitely screams desperation. Desperation and false hope. And when Doug Whaley was on the WGR 550 Sports Radio, he talked about what he has seen from Tyrod Taylor in training camp. That's all well and good, but again, that is training camp. It's not game action. Way too early for the Bills to make this much of a commitment to their quarterback and put this much stock in their quarterback after only 14 games. It's just that simple. And in those 14 games, he was 1 game over 500 as a starting quarterback. That's not franchise material. If you flip the script, if you change the script to an 11-5 season with a wild card berth and maybe even a playoff win, or we'll just say a playoff berth in general, that changes things. But this deal did not need to be made. It did not. It was fully forced by Doug Whaley, once again, reaching, overextending himself into his role as the general manager. His reach for Sammy Watkins, his reach for E.J. Manuel, his reach for Tyrod Taylor. I think that this is another move that has shown that Buffalo is jumping the gun over and over and over again. And for all intents and purposes, I do hope that it works out. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I want the Bills to win. I want to see the Bills go to the playoffs for the first time since I was 7 years old. I'm a 24-year-old man. I want to see the Buffalo Bills do well. I hope this works out. I want Tyrod Taylor to prove me wrong. And if he doesn't, the Bills will definitely pay. And what I meant by that on Facebook, for all the people that are confused about that, what I mean is, when you're investing time into a quarterback and then it doesn't work out, that sets you back 3-4 years. It will set them back mightily if they put this much money into Tyrod Taylor and it doesn't work out. Not necessarily cap-wise, because as I alluded to, this is structured the right way for the Buffalo Bills. But in terms of putting your eggs in the basket of the Tyrod Taylor era, if that era does not work out within the Buffalo Bills organization, then they have to go in a different direction. At that point, the prospects might be pretty scarce, because in college, quarterback prospects are few and far between, and the ones that are good are in the top 5-10 picks. So the Bills would have to finish very, very bad in order for the Bills to get one of those top college quarterbacks heading into this year's 2017 draft, I should say, like a Chad Kelly, the nephew of Jim Kelly. So that being said, I'm very, perplexed, disappointed that the Bills made this move before the season started. I do not feel as if this is a good strategic move for the Buffalo Bills moving forward into the 2016 season. It's really a case of a guy wanting to get paid and the team originally saying no, watching 2 or 3 weeks of training camp and thinking they see a lot in him, when really I'm sure he's played well in training camp. I've seen him play pretty well in training camp, but you're comparing him to the other options on your team. Of course he's going to look better. He is the best option on the team. Everybody knows that. But he's not playing against the New England Patriots. He's not playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's not playing against the Oakland Raiders. He's not playing against these teams that we have to beat in order to get into the playoffs. He's playing in training camp. Those are two completely different things. Training camp is practice. To quote the great Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice. Not a game, but practice. So let's keep this on an even keel. Let's get back to reality. Did the Bills need to make this move? No, they did not. Is Tyrod Taylor worth $27.5 million for 1 year in this contract? For the first year, for the first actual year of this contract? No, he's not. He'll be the highest paid quarterback in the 2017 season. Highest paid in the entire NFL. More than Cam Newton, more than Andrew Luck. More than the outrageously paid Brock Osweiler. More than anybody. This deal could embarrass the Buffalo Bills even more than they already have been. The Buffalo Bills organization. This could not set them back financially, but as a team, if Tyrod Taylor does not pan out, which the jury is still out on this guy. He's not a guarantee. He's not a guy that has shown... He didn't lead us to the playoffs last year, right? That's the one goal that we wanted, and he didn't do that. And he went 8-6, one game above 500, played in 14 games, missed 2 games. The Bills went 8-8. If he had been in those 2 games, who knows what might have happened. But if he was in those 2 games, he might have went 8-8 or 10-6. 10-6 even in a first-year starter does not warrant a $92 million 5-year deal. Not to me. Not to me. I would have made him sweat it out, wait it out, prove it on the field. Put it on the field. Put it on the line. If you think you're worth that much, prove it. Put it out there. Play. The Thomas take. Ryan Thomas, I'm burning about the Tyrod Taylor extension. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take. Take care.